So, welcome back. I had a really good time yesterday. Um, I remember something that Art of Pain brought up in our chat, and I wasn't sure if it was something I should share or if it was something I should ignore. But I mean, the point of all of this is to finally just start talking about everything that happened. So, because I did say that, you know, it is kind of dangerous to talk about some of the things that I want us to talk about today, because on one hand, I have no control over who's going to be watching this. And so I don't know if what I say will or can be taken and used by someone for purposes that are not good. I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to just tell you what's going on out there so that you guys don't. My true. One thing I realized after everything that happened to me is sometimes we have this thing where we kind of judge ourselves harshly, and we look at our actions and think that what we're doing is not good enough. And sometimes we think that we are actually, I don't know, it's weird to explain, but I find that before everything that happened to me, I used to think that I was a bad person if I was 5 minutes late for work. That would just make me feel so bad. But then when you actually see what real evil is, you realize that you're being too hard on yourself. And so that's the real reason why I want to talk about what I want to talk about. Because a lot of you are so good that you think you're evil. I know it's so hard to explain, but because you are so focused on being a good person and doing the right thing, you judge yourselves too harshly and you punish yourselves for no reason. Hey, Latma Maid, Siapa Kau. Hi, Latma. Welcome to the stream. So you guys, maybe Latma, you can relate, but you guys judge yourselves so harshly. And some of the things you tell yourselves, you would never say it to like your friend, not even your best friend, just like a stranger. But you say these things to yourselves. And that's the reason why I want to talk about this. I don't want to glorify, I don't want you to think that I'm glorifying these things that I'm going to be talking about, because they're not good. I know I've seen real evil. I've seen the true face of evil, and it's not pretty. In the beginning, it looks good. But that's all just a trick to put you in this defenseless state where they can get you. And when I say get you, it's not like how you think. It's dangerous, it's serious, it's life or non-life, unaliving. And so in the description box, I've put in a bunch of links that prove that what I'm telling you is real, because you get to hear it from people who've done these horrible things that I'm about to talk about. But I don't want you to do those things, because in the comments of some of the videos I've put in the description box right at the end, there are people in the comment section who want to do the same thing. The person telling the story is saying, I made a mistake. Magic is real. I shouldn't have done this. Now demons are trying to kill me. And you have people in the comments asking for instructions on how to do the same thing. Now, I am only sharing these links so that you actually get to see how serious this is. And you also get to see the difference between what you think is bad and what's actually bad. If you are late for work, if you have an argument with someone, if you are, having an affair, as bad as that is, it's nowhere near as bad as what I am about to tell you. So just, give yourselves a break. Forgive yourselves. You didn't, most 98% of you are fine. But unfortunately, there is that 2% who will do anything to succeed, to be rich, to have a nice car, to have a nice house. And unfortunately, my ex was one of those people. She didn't have kids, so she probably didn't care about, her actions. Because when you have, or when you want children, she didn't want them either. You tend to care about your morals because you don't want anything bad to happen to your kids because of what you did. So, they always say everybody has a price. Not everybody. People who believe in family will never sell their family out for anything. But the person I happened to fall in love with had a price. And unfortunately for her, it failed. And that was fortunate for me because I was going to be that blood price. Now, how this all came about is because yesterday in the chat, someone asked me if their soul was damned because they spoke to the moon. Someone said that they had a conversation with the moon, and after that conversation, they got what they wanted. They made a wish and they got what they wanted. And they asked me if that was a deal with the devil. And I said, no, because a deal with the devil can only work in one way: blood. And if you look at the references that I put in this link, the people who do these things tell you how it's done, as well as in the other videos, the victims, or well, not really the victims, the people who sold their soul to do these things tell you what happens when you don't follow the strict instructions that the demons give you. Now, some people call them demons, some people call them jinn, some people call them entities. I call them disembodied spirits that died in the flood. Like, I don't care which flood you want to call it, because the Mayans said there was a flood, the Christians said there was a flood, all the Sumerians, I don't know, everybody, the Native Americans said there was a flood. If you look at everything and every culture, there was a flood at some point. And those spirits could not go to heaven or hell. So they just float around in the ether. and they speak to people who have the third eye activated. And just because you have the third eye activated, it doesn't mean that you're good. It doesn't mean that you are working for the light. And some people don't even know they have the third eye activated. So they're just walking around listening to these disembodied voices of demonic souls or damned souls. And they follow those instructions. And those instructions only lead to destruction. And what do these voices say? They give you the tools and the means to create passages from their world into ours. Why? Because all they want is to get rid of the people for which they were removed for, and that is humans. They were removed, these, giant spirits and souls, because they were abusing humans and humans had to be protected. So all they want to do is come back on Earth and take everybody here down to where they are. That's their goal. And they'll tell you anything, they'll do anything, they will tempt you, they will they will promise you the world, maybe even give you the world just for a little bit. But afterwards, you belong to them. And there's nothing you can do about it. Except, find a way to save yourself the right way. But I want to go into how, if everybody always looks down. Now just go with me on this. It's going to take a turn, but just go with me. Everyone always wants to look down on OF models, or people who sell their flesh, their body. But we all do it. Well, I did it. Not that. In a different way. We all go to work. We all have to go somewhere we don't want to go to get money. We all have a pimp, except mine isn't Andrew Tate, or mine wasn't Andrew Tate or Kat Torres. Mine was my ex-girlfriend who happened to be my boss. But what I'm trying to say is, if you go to work and you have a boss, you are just like an OF model, or basically a prostitute, because the boss is like the pimp. They take a cut of your money. Then the government takes another cut. And then you get a cut at the end. That's one. Number two, you don't even like the people you might be working for. Just like a prostitute. You have to smile for a client that you don't even like. Sure, you get to keep your clothes on, but it's still the same vibration. It's still the same feeling of faking it. I used to work in sales when I was a little itty bitty teenager. And I had to smile even though I didn't want to. That's exactly the same as having to be an exotic dancer for people you don't want to. I mean, the difference is you get to keep your clothes on. So when I say everybody has a price, I mean, we can go around trying to judge each other, but at the end of the day, we all have a price. And maybe my price might be, a CEO, but I'm still beholden to someone else, the boss of the company or the shareholders. Or I could be an OF model, and it just means my price is a little lower than a CEO of a, blue chip company, but we are all on the same level. Well, I was in there until I ran away because I couldn't. I couldn't bear the fact that I was on the other side of the transaction, because it's all fun and games when you are just, you know, the one getting paid, when you are the one making the money, when you are the one that is, you know, benefiting from this messed up system we're in. But it's another thing when the tables turn on you and you end up being the price. I mean, the reason I stayed so long, one of my friends was like, "Why did you stay so long? Didn't you see the signs? Didn't you see the signs that your ex was trying to murder you for insurance money?" Well, yeah, I did see the signs, but I didn't think it would be me. I didn't think that's what was going on. I thought something else completely was going on. I thought I thought the people that I was supposed to be teaching, you know, the people who were looking after the old retirees, I thought they were, because they were Filipino, they were, you know, locals. And I thought they were angry or jealous or upset because here comes a foreigner out of nowhere earning 5 million times more than they are in another currency that's not even used in their country. Um, and I'm sleeping with the boss. So it's like I'm a made man. So I was like, oh no, I'm going to fight. I'm going to stay. Little did I know they were all in on it with her. So when I discovered that, okay, that's when I ran. So fine. I'm not saying that I'm Mr. Moral, holy. No, I was enjoying it. Hey, I'm not, it was good money. It wasn't like OnlyFans. It was better. And I got to keep my clothes on and I got to teach. And it wasn't about the money, okay? But I definitely didn't find a problem with all the other people that were disappearing. Oh yeah, so many people disappeared while I was there, and I would just they would tell me. I remember during Christmas they told me no, just take some time off. My girlfriend was really busy because that's the busy season, so I didn't see her half the time. That's when I met her mother and spent time with her because she came out to visit, and they really wanted to get me out of that place in December. And so when I came back, they were like, "Oh yeah, you know, so and so had a nervous breakdown, and they had to go because so many people had disappeared. Not so many, two people had disappeared, but by the time I came back, and they were like, no, they just had to go. They had a nervous breakdown, and someone else broke their leg. Apparently, they slipped during the Christmas party. I wasn't there. I don't like crowds and stuff. I like staying at home." Um, and I just brushed it off. I should have investigated. If I cared, I would have said, no, that doesn't sound, but because I had no idea I was going to be the next victim, I didn't do anything. So everybody does have a price. But here's the thing, my price was love. Okay. That's why I say it wasn't really about the money. I could have made that money in South Africa, but it was the fact that I got to potentially have a family. She didn't want kids. She was older. So like adopting, she wanted to open like a charity thing. I believed all of that stuff. I don't even know what was real, what wasn't. Um, we got some activity in the chat. Let me just take a break and read that. The Art of Pain says, I fell asleep talking to you last night. Art of Pen, I hope you had good dreams after that, because you know, you're the reason why we're talking about this. Because after what you asked me yesterday, I was thinking about it, and it made me think about, you know, why would you feel so? Why would you judge yourself so harshly when you didn't even do anything? Meanwhile, this woman tries to take my life for insurance money, and she still hasn't even, like, you know, done the right thing, even though she's in jail awaiting trial. It's a whole thing. I don't want to go into it. But I mean, you were crying because, or you felt bad because you just like spoke to the moon. Like, dude, you're fine. You are absolutely fine. And we need to stop this thing of good people judging themselves, because when you do that, you stop yourself from fulfilling your destiny, because you're listening to these demonic voices telling you you're a bad person, but you're not. And then you don't do your thing that you're supposed to do on earth, your mission, because you think, oh no, what if I am doing something wrong? What? No, 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 no. You are fine. Out of pain, okay? I don't want to hear this narrative of, oh no, I took the Lord's name in vain. I'm going to hell. Please stop. Someone someone the other day told me that they felt bad because they stole a chocolate. Now I'm not, saying you must steal, or that stealing is a little thing, because it's not. But someone said they stole a chocolate when they were a kid, and now they felt bad about it because they had converted to a religion or whatever. They wanted to repent. And I was like, are you serious? You are crying because you stole a chocolate. Meanwhile, the politicians are running around shooting people who are against them, or like doing the most horrible things, and they have a job and they get celebrated. Celebrities kidnapping people, like, and you are complaining, or you feel bad because you stole a chocolate bar when you were a teenager. Like, come on, guys, you need to let this go, because this is how these demons operate. And Erin Elizabeth says that was exactly what happened to me. It was him, and he was being brainwashed by his parents to do so. But I was so close to death many times. Erin Elizabeth, you get it. And that's what I've been realizing about this process as we've been doing this. The people who get it will be here. The people who get it will find me, because it's not just me. We're in this together. I know, have been through a lot. I know we've seen things that most people wouldn't even believe, wouldn't even know where to begin with what they saw. And I'm glad that I can come on here and tell you that, it's real. And if you go to the description box, you'll see the proof that it is real, because right at the bottom, again, I have links of people who have done the real evil stuff, who have really done black magic, like my ex, and they tell you how they do it. And then you'll realize that you are good. You'll realize that just because you got in an argument, or just because you swore at someone, or you were late for work one day, you are still good. You are not getting punished, because you know what happens? You'll do something small. You'll drop a piece of paper on the floor, and then you'll go, oh my gosh, I'm a bad person. And then you will attract experiences that confirm your judgment of yourself. Why? Because you are different. You have the ability to bend time. And I did go and look into that thing that man told me about the crystals in the body. And afterward, you guys told me about quartz crystal and stuff. And guess what? There's another link in the description box which talks about there are crystals in the brain. So it's real, okay? Like, I know sometimes I freak out and I don't want to believe it, because I don't want to be the guy. But it's real. And it's like, we need to stop playing games and hiding from our subconscious knowledge, because we know this. We know this on a deep subconscious level. We know this the same way we know how to breathe. in and out even while we're asleep. When you're sleeping, you don't think, I need to breathe in, I need to breathe out. You just breathe in and out. And it this magic that we have, this alien technology that's in us, is exactly the same. It allows us to operate around time without us knowing it. So when you do judge yourself harshly, you don't know it, but you are creating circumstances around yourself that will punish you because you feel like you want to be punished. When the real purpose of these gifts that we have is to be a symbol of hope, I think. To be lovers, not fighters, to be an anchor for the new earth. Because for the new earth to, materialize, there have to be people who are vibrating on the frequency of the new earth so that the technology of the new earth can flow to them. And we happen to be those people. And that is why, like Erin says, people try to also kill her. And that's why they try to off me, because they don't want us here. That's the whole point. But guess what? They cannot get rid of us because we are literally the children of time. We cannot be taken away. And I know for a fact that if you're watching this, you've had this experience where you have been close to losing the ability to breathe. I don't know what I am allowed to say and not allowed to say. So we've all been close to that moment, that whether from other people, whether from depression, where you actually listen to the voices of these disembodied demons who tell you, yeah, you're worthless, just end it all now, or from actual people who trick you, like in my case. But either way, that's what they want, because they don't want the new earth. In the new earth, they will not be here. And what that man, that alien told me, angel, whatever you want to call it finally makes sense now. Because yesterday, when I started the stream, I was like, upset that I lost the other half of the other stream. But after talking to you guys, I just felt so much more aligned with the purpose of why all of this is happening. It's not for a specific reason specific to me or to you, but it's specific to us. It's specific to where we are on earth at this time. Like there's so much chaos going on right now that people are losing their minds, let's be honest. And when people get desperate, they will do anything to survive. We have moved past the survival mode. Let me turn the light on. We have moved past the survival mode at this point, and we are in the creation mode. You can't create, guys. If you feel, if there's a lag, if it's lagging, let me know. Like if the audio is lagging with the movement of my lips, let me know. It looks like it on my side. Could just be a delay. So you guys, people are angry, as you can see, in the chat, and people are losing their minds. And when that happens, people get desperate. And when people get desperate, they are willing to do and say anything to survive. And that's where we come in, because we are not like that. We cannot be like that. During the Black Plague, the plague in the medieval times, everyone thought the world was going to end. If you've ever played like horror movie games, horror games like Silent Hill and stuff, you'll look at how it's set up. That's kind of like based on the medieval aesthetic of like the Black Plague, right? How they dressed and how they believe in this whole thing. And that's what we're having now. But guess what? In the medieval times, people thought the world was going to end, but it didn't. In the 1900s, Great Depression, people thought the world was going to end. It didn't. The world is never going to end, ever. It's illogical. At school, they told us that the earth will be what? Will be overheated. Why? It's cold today. It's raining. Where's the warmth? Where's the global warming? It's all BS. The earth knows what it's doing. All that other stuff is to put people into a reactive mode, into survival mode. And it's to control you because you can't think when you're living out of your root chakra. And Art of Pain and Morse code and Zerdek yesterday were talking about the root chakras and how it's about survival. And I realized last night that that's exactly why they always keep you in a state of panic, of worry, raising the prices of everything. I mean, we even talked yesterday about how eggs are so expensive in the States, but here they aren't. And it's like, why are foods that we've been eating for hundreds and thousands of years so expensive? It should be free practically at this point. Like, it shouldn't even be a question. When I was in school, our economics teacher told us that when they have too much food too much food and low demand, she told us because she used to work in the industry before she became a teacher in the, what is it called? The FMPCG industry. I don't know, food, manufacturing and packages, something. And she said when they have extra food, like extra butter, extra dairy, extra fruits, they take it all on a container ship, on a cargo ship, because we live right by the sea. Obviously, you've seen it. And they dump it there. They take food that could be used to feed people and they dump it in the ocean. And then they wonder why these things happen. They wonder why people get angry and start, okay, I'm not going to say it, but you know what I'm trying to say. And I'm not justifying it. I'm not saying it's right to live from the root chakra because what happens is when people do form these militia groups, these BLMs, these protesting things, looting and breaking things out of anger and frustration, do you know what that does? It makes them make more laws to take away your freedom. And then you wonder why you can't do anything and why you can't say certain words on YouTube. It's because you guys have made the environment, not you, them, it's because they've made the environments to a point where it's justified that you can't say something and you have to say grapes. It's justified that you can't say the other word and you have to say unalive. As silly as it is for adults to be acting like this, to be using words like 5-year-olds, it's been justified because people have fallen into the trap of making these regulations seem normal. Okay, fine. That's not our problem. And that's not our job. That's not our mandate. Because unlike those other people, the muggles, the mundanes, we don't have a price. And if we did have a price, it's an unearthly price. It's an intergalactic price. It's the price that Morse code was talking about yesterday. It's love. it's vibrational, it's frequency. And that goes back to what that alien man said the other day. And it's the crystals, it's the crystal vibration inside your brain. They are literal crystals in your brain. I yesterday, remember, I was like so confused. I was like, well, they can't be crystals in the body. Sure, there's metal, there's, copper and iron, and they are crystals. And then someone said there are quartz crystals in the body. I looked it up. There's actually a version of a quartz crystal, but it's called silicon or silica, and it's the same shape as quartz crystal, but it's not actually crystallized. So then I went deeper to look at like what are crystals, right? And it said something about piezoelectric something something. Um, and it said that DNA is piezoelectric. So even though DNA is not a crystal, it works in the same way. It emits an electric charge like crystals can, if you put it under stress. And it said something about like that's how we keep time with crystals, because you put it under strain and it emits a certain frequency that's constant, which is how we can keep time. So when we look at DNA, it also can be, put under strain, and it also emits an electric charge. And in fact, that's how nanotechnology apparently works, because whenever your DNA emits that charge, they can then monitor what it's communicating to other parts of your body, which can then be translated by this tech in your brain or in your blood. So all the stuff that seems like science fiction is actually not that science fiction when you look at the beauty of the human body, of the human design, and how we really are these advanced machines. And it's so funny that they put us in this system where you just go to school and learn information that's 30 years out of date. They tell you that the water's going to run out by 2015 and that there's not going to be sunlight. And meanwhile, it's 2025 and the world is as beautiful as it's ever been. So then, while you're busy living in this false reality that they've given you, you're missing out on your destiny, on what you are supposed to be doing, which is love, falling in love with yourself, so that you don't have to look for it somewhere else. And it all just like came to me last night after we had that talk yesterday. I did make the bean curry, by the way. It was awesome. um, and I have orange juice this time because you guys were so healthy yesterday. I was like, okay, maybe I need to be like Art of Pain and and have some healthy food for a change. So I still needed the fizz. So I had yes. So it's not soda. I mean, Zodek was also like, no, he's not drinking soda. So fine. I mean, I still need the fizz, so it's sparkling water, but I put fresh orange juice in, two freshly squeezed oranges, obviously with a bit of sugar, but I mean, come on. Baby steps. Mm. The thing I love about freshly squeezed orange juice is that you also get some of the oils from the skin. So it has that like orange oil taste along with the juice. It's so well rounded. So it's like you can smell, because when you cut or slice an orange, that the oils like spritz up and you can smell the orange. But then when you actually, it's like you know what I mean. Like I'm eating the orange, but I'm drinking it. It's healthy. um, I don't know if I'm gonna keep it up though, guys, because I do like my Coca-Cola. But after our chat yesterday, especially after what Art of Pain said, I was just like, no, guys, don't put yourselves in an emotional prison for something you didn't even do. Because then the people who are doing the things, the real bad things, the human traffickers, etc., they don't feel bad. And it's kind of like you are taking on their karma for them by feeling bad. Out of pains, I guess. Um, and if you take on other people's karma, then it's kind of like balance then nothing's going to change, because as far as the Galactic Federation is concerned, the world is balanced, because bad people do bad things, they get away with it, because good people blame themselves for nothing. So the people, that energy, because remember, it's all energy, excuse me, so that energy is being used. But if the good people say, no, wait a minute, I'm fine, I'm not going to stand for this, I'm not going to pay for someone else's madness, then that energy will have to bounce back and return to the people who deserve it. And when that happens, then you'll see the new earth coming into being. Because the new earth can't come into being if we are busy judging ourselves. If we are busy doubting ourselves, there's no space for it to enter. And you guys were there yesterday. Whenever we stopped talking about the rain or ignored it, it would stop raining. Exactly the same thing. But when we focus on it, it keeps raining and gets worse and worse. When I got back inside the house, it started raining cats and dogs. It was as if it was waiting for the stream to be over before it could rain. And that's exactly what I'm saying. When we apply the tech, it moves, time, reality bends around us. And then the negative stuff goes back to where it's supposed to. Out of Pain says that makes a lot of sense. And Morse code says, all your feelings I bless, transform. All your feelings I bless, transform. Okay, Morse, give me, uh, what do you mean? I'm transformed doubt by trusting others, especially trusting the ones you trust the least, etc., etc. I think you know this. I love you. I love you too, Morse code. And when you want to come in, you can come in. Okay. There's a plus thing here on my screen, so I'm able to add anyone. And just a heads up, if you do want to come into the stream, go into the description box and go to my Instagram and then go to the bio and you'll get the link to come into the stream. No, it's fine, Moscow. I know. You told me. It's okay. But I'm just saying, if you ever do want to in future and, whenever, it'll always be there. And you'll always get it through that process, the link to join. But wait, I want to unpack what you said here about trusting the ones you trust the least, transform doubt. Well, in a sense, yes. But when I read that immediately, it makes me kind of like anxious a bit, because let's take my ex, for example. I trusted her. Well, now I trust her the least. But I understand, I appreciate that I wouldn't know what I know now had it not been for her and that whole thing. So I can't like hate her. Would I say I forgive her? I mean, it's hard to say those words, but based on behavior, I think I have, because I'm not like, you know, anymore. I'm not swearing and cussing her out into the ether every day. So so maybe, but in my heart of hearts, I'm pissed. I'm disappointed, and I'm offended that someone could even think to do something like that to another human being in 2025, in 20, well, it happened 2023, 2024. So like in the 21st century, I don't know how someone could do that when we've all watched ID channel, we've all seen hashtag this. And so to have the balls to do what she did really shows that she didn't give an F about me. She didn't give a stuff about me. And I didn't know that people like that still existed, or that they were bosses, like that they were CEOs, that they were in positions of power. And like after the whole like hashtag Me Too thing, I didn't think she would screw me over because yeah, she was my boss, but at the same time, it's like, after hashtag Me Too, you're not gonna do anything because I can just go and like expose you. So I felt safe. But it's all fake. It doesn't matter. Like people, evil will be evil because they want what they want and they want money. Um, Wait, let me see what Morse code says. Morse code says, "Hell yeah, fun, fun. Oh yes, not easy to do the loving thing of the hard to love." Well, yes, it's not easy to do the loving thing because then it feels like you are making yourself weak, and it feels like you playing yourself by letting it go and forgiving and forgetting. But for me, it was like realizing, okay, well, what did I realize because of that situation? Like, what did I gain metaphysically because of it? And what I gained was a lot more. It's something you can't buy. It's 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 something that people, I believe, I think, maybe, I don't know, I've never done it, but I think it's something that people try and pay millions of dollars to go to special retreats and special gurus to try and find it. And it's like you can find it that way, I guess. But I think when it's so life or death, it's like it was a near death experience, just a very like protracted version of that. So it's very, I don't know. It's like I'm imagining in my mind, like when people take ayahuasca and they say, "Oh my gosh, I saw all of this stuff, and that's what it was like." Except there was no, there was no priest involved like they do in Brazil. So, Morse code says it brings relief if you're willing. You're awesome. You're awesome too. It's for clarity. It's for clarity of your mind that you deserve. Hope you go beyond this. You're amazing. I mean, with you guys, it has been a little bit easier to actually start talking about it so that I can move on and kind of, I guess, come to terms with the fact that I have to I have to be willing. Oh, for a long time, I didn't want to believe that humans, that people were or could be intrinsically evil and bad. I always try to make that's when I was infected with the woke virus. I used to make excuses for people that, oh, they're just a product of their environment. That's why they are holding up this liquor store right now. It's because they didn't have an opportunity to go to school. That's why they are doing all of this massive fraud. It's because they couldn't afford therapy, because we didn't have accessible therapy in those areas in those days. So that's why they are, bang, bang, pow, pow, all innocent people. And it's like now when I think about it, I was basically making excuses for bad people, for people who didn't even deserve, for people who wouldn't think twice about trying to unalive me for money. And I was sitting there making excuses for them. And then, like I said, when the tables are turned on you, then you understand why certain things are the way they are. And it on this whole thing answered a major question for me, which is if because I was scared to admit that people could be intrinsically bad. So then the question would be if some people are intrinsically bad, what does that say about the nature of creation? Like you can call it God or Mother Nature, but what does that say about, let's say, Mother Nature? What does that say about Mother Nature if people are born evil? Because Mother Nature doesn't make mistakes, right? Or God wouldn't make a mistake. So if someone is born evil, does that mean I have to accept it? Okay, well, then I'll accept it from over there. You can stay there and be evil, and I'll be over here. But aren't we all supposed to come together? So this whole thing answered the question for me of why. And now I know, now that I'm not infected by the woke virus, now I know why. Oh, it's raining again. See? I was like, if I was gonna walk, but then I was like, no, and now it's raining. Ha, safe and sound. Um, but it's like if we if people are born bad, if I was still woke, I would say we need to help them. We need to get them counseling. We need to uh, we need to come out of our lives and our plans, and we need to go give them attention, like you know, like a helpless individual. But now I changed my mind. Now I think our job is to just ignore them. Our job is to ignore them and let them live in their own reality while we live in our own reality where we hold the space for all of these things. And it all stems from what that guy said and then from the conversation we had yesterday, because we literally saw it happening, reality shifting before our eyes. And when we weren't surrounded by evil, we were able to bend time with ease. And so, why bother trying to help them when they didn't even ask for help? I never once heard somebody who was like looting and destroying government property. I never saw them asking for help. I just saw them acting insane. So why we or I guess, felt the need to intervene in those situations, I don't know. I was a cyborg. I was a cyborg living in cyborgia. And it didn't, and if it wasn't for my ex, I would still be there. So, in a sense, okay, Morse code, you're right. Fine. You see what I mean? You guys know how to talk to me. Yes, I do love her. I actually do love her because I would still be a woke nightmare if I didn't meet her, if I didn't go. And I'm laughing because I can't believe you got me to 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 realize that I actually do love my enemy. And I actually finally said that without wanting to throw up at the same time. Yeah, I do. I love the bitch. But now the woke people will say, oh, well, you just saying that because you escaped, because you got away. What about the other people that didn't get away? Think of their families. See? But then they're trying to make me feel guilty. I'm not going to do it. I'm happy with my decisions, and I'm happy that I escaped. I'm sorry for the people who didn't. Um, and I'm smiling because it's like it's such a. I never ever imagined when I was a kid at 6 years old. I never thought that one day the person that I fell in love with would try to kill me for money, not even for passion. I mean, come on. It's such a, that I would have preferred if it was for passion. And not that I'm saying I want that, but I mean, at least if she was jealous or something, like, come on. Not for money, something that you can just make, like, buy some crypto, make money overnight. Like, money is the most, it's the lowest vibe. It's like the easiest thing. But love, I love love because it's the hardest thing. It's unpredictable. You can't just go out and say, "Okay, I'm going to fall in love now." No, it's special. And that's my price. That's why I left the country. Excuse me. But now I feel like, unfortunately, I'm going to have to give up on that forever because at this point, I don't think the love that I wanted, the way I had it before I realized she was just lying. And her mom messed up. Her mom, because like I said, during Christmas, they didn't want me around. Because, yeah. Anyway, so I met up with her mom, and her mom messed up because her mom said something that you would only know if you had seen my social media profiles. It was something like deep in my social media. And we were talking about something, and then she's like, oh, yeah, you must not like XYZ because of XYZ. And I was like, how did you know? But then I brushed it off because I was like, oh, well, obviously her daughter told her because she's in love with me. So she was stalking my profile and she told mommy, oh, how sweet. No, I was nothing but a mark. I was researched, marked, flown out, love bombed to hell and gone. And then right before they did it, the freaking aliens came through. And that's another thing. If it wasn't for them, if it wasn't for you guys, I don't know what I would have done, honest to goodness. That's why I don't even care about all the stuff I lost. Like, I lost everything because I moved with everything and I don't care. That was the easiest part to get over. The hard part was being lied to for love, like being made, someone taking the one thing, because it's kind of like a secret. I'm in real life, I don't go around going, oh, I'm in love, I'm in love, I'm in love. No, I'm very like work, 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 work. I was. My hair used to be like a square, like everything was angular. I was like a robot. And no one, and I did that because I didn't, well, I like work, 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 work. But at the same time, I never wanted anyone to know what my price was. I never wanted anyone to figure me out or to know that I don't care about money. I just want to fall in love and have a family. Because I didn't want people to use that against me because I'm not silly. I watched the ID channel growing up. I know I've heard all the stories of how, people get manipulated for many reasons. But the fact that this came through work, right? So she was making more money than me. So I knew it wasn't about well, that's I knew it wasn't about money because she was making more than me, but she wanted more. So it's just so dumb. When I say it, I'm like, I can't believe I didn't see all the red flags, but because I thought I could change her and help her just by my vibration, that everything would work out well. And then going over everything she said, like all the lies, like, oh yeah, we're gonna go to Japan in October, knowing full well they were meant to kill me in July. And when I think about that, I'm like, how can you look at me? Anyway, let's not go there. So how can someone look at you and say that? That's the kind of stuff I would have preferred to learn in school, quite frankly. If everybody, took out the whole algebra, like I asked my teacher once, why do I need to learn algebra? And she said, in case you want to put a carpet in a round room. That's the dumbest thing I. And you know who you are, math teacher. And I can't believe you told me that. I just like all I remember. It's like as I remember, like all my muscles and my body, like all the energy just drains from my body. Why do I need to learn algebra? In case you need to put a carpet in a round room. That was what she told me. I don't even know where to begin. I didn't then, and I still don't know now. Because I'm like, first of all, I'm not going to be carpeting my own room. Second of all, who has a round room? And I have allergies. Can't use carpets. Everything is tiled. So instead of learning all of that rubbish, it would have been much nicer to learn about people. For our teachers to say, okay, you know what? You're gonna go to the workplace and there are going to be some crazy people. There are going to be some naive people. And most likely your boss or CEO will be a psychopath because that's what the research says. And I only found that out later that psychopaths are, most of them are CEOs. Or I should say, most CEOs are psychopaths, like clinical psychopaths. So it would have been nice to hear something about that before moving all of my possessions halfway around the world to Asia for a murder plot against me. Would have been nice to just have a heads up that love doesn't exist the way I thought it existed. And I think the way I thought it existed, I know this is gonna make me sound so dumb, but I thought, how could people write stories like Romeo and Juliet or Snow White or whatever, like all these fairy tales, like why would people waste their time writing about that if it wasn't real? Why would adults, this is when I'm like a kid, right? And I'm like, why would adults waste their time with stuff that wasn't real? And I used to be in awe of adults. I was like, whoa, adults are so clever and powerful and smart. And I remember the one time it was Christmas, and I think I was like 4 or 5, and I never really believed in Santa because I saw the process. Like, our parents had to buy the gift and then give it to the school, the daycare place, and then they would hand the gifts back out to us dressed as Santa Claus. So I saw the whole thing because I saw my mom coming with the gift wrapped, giving it to the people. And then I saw the daycare person dressing up as Santa, and I was like, okay, I was just fascinated with humans and how they make things fun and how something as mundane and as simple as, handing someone a gift had turned into this whole elaborate production. So I really, I don't say I revered humans. I'm not saying I revered adults, but I definitely couldn't wait to be an adult. I was like, oh my gosh, can I please be an adult already? So I can know everything, so I can know stuff. But now I know that adults don't know anything. No one knows anything except what they hear from demons, disembodied spirits. And unfortunately, I don't want to say like a percentage because I don't know. But in my experience, a high percentage of very wealthy, rich individuals got their wealth through evil, through blood sacrifice. There, I said it. And I guess the reason why I can say it now is because I was meant to be that sacrifice for her, for my psycho stalker ex. And it failed. So now it's my world, bitch. You know? So I get to set the rules. I know, like after yesterday's talk, I feel so much more like me. I don't have this like anxiety because, and also the links that I put in the description box, I was listening to some of that stuff because what I was telling you yesterday in yesterday's stream, it's stuff that I've just heard from people. I never actually looked up to see what was online about it because I didn't think anyone would want to confess or admit to doing voodoo, or not voodoo, can't say that, but wouldn't admit to doing black magic on like TV. And when I found the videos, I was like, this is much worse than I thought. And not only that, why am I over here feeling bad that, I'm talking about this stuff? Meanwhile, these people have bodies and bodies beneath them and they still feel fine. And so I'm like, no. If the meek are to inherit the earth, then, we are the meek and it's inheritance time, baby. No one has the right to buy you. No one can afford us. No one has that amount of love to get us. That amount of love is something I experienced that night when I escaped. Because it was true love. It was real. It is real. And now I know that she was the only one who could make me see it. There wouldn't have been another way, a quicker way for me to understand that everybody's not like us. And out of that whole place, not one person did the right thing. Not one. So if it was like Sodom and Gomorrah, that place would be struck down, because not one person did the right thing until they had to, till they were forced to, I guess. And it wasn't because they were doing the right things, because they were trying to avoid punishment. My hair's still falling out. I must still be stressed. Ugh. So sleepy. My body's not used to fruit juice, I guess. Like I took a sip and it makes me sleepy. Let's test that theory. Mm. So now I want to figure out how to use these crystals in the brain. What do they do? Apparently, it's called magnetite or something. And it's like electromagnetic crystals in our brain. And electromagnetic fields are broadcasting systems, like Wi-Fi is electromagnetic, right? Don't quote me on that, but I think they are. And so if we have electromagnetic crystal thingies in our brains, and it's got 8 shapes, they said. It's an, what is it? Octahedron. And so if that's there, it's receiving and sending signals, obviously, like a lighthouse, like a cell tower. And then the key would be if it's sending and receiving, then it must be movement based. But if it's a crystal, then it's the masculine and it's fixed, as Morse code said, which means the signal would be feminine and create the motion. So maybe the crystals in our brain are activated by our emotion, our electromagnetic motion, emotions. What if emotions are electromagnetic motions? What if emotions are the results of a collective subconscious? Because again, it goes to that thing of having a woke mind virus. Because when you are woke, you are involved in groupthink. You only feel bad because you are aware of how the group is going to feel. So if somebody says something against women, for example, the natural reflex is to feel sad. Or if someone makes a joke like a comedian, the natural reflex is to kind of be a social justice warrior and say, no, no, don't say that. No, you can't say that. Why can't you? Why can't you say words? Why are words being policed? And I think the reason is because it's the emotion of other people that's making you move that way, that's making you do those things. Kind of also like mass hysteria, like if there's a riot or a march somewhere, and then people start acting, unhinged, and then the entire group starts acting the same way. It's because of the emotion of others that moves you to act insane. Because people will often use that phrase. And I'm just going off of what Morse code said. Excuse me. So much carbonation in that. And I'm just going off of what Morse code said because he was talking about crystals being like fixed and energy or being feminine and being movement. So if we are moved, when you watch a sad movie or a sad scene in a movie and you say, oh, that's so moving. Moving you where? Moving you to what? So other people's emotions create movement within us, which affects or dictates our actions. And when you are in the woke mind virus thing, then you are moving or you are being moved by stuff that is only going to lead to your destruction, because you cannot be moved by other people's things. You have to be moved from in here. And that's why we are moved by love, and they are moved by money, because money is out there. And when you are moved by something that is out there, then you have no anchor in reality. You have nothing. You have nothing but a plan. And as Mike Tyson says, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. But if you are moved by love, then you have everything, because it doesn't matter if your soulmate is broke or poor or whatever, a billion trillionaire. If you're moved by love, that's the only thing that's going to matter to you. Oh. Oh my gosh. I almost slipped into another, another dimension. I was watching this documentary, BBC. The British Broadcasting Corporation documentary on this Instagram model, a woman. And she apparently was dating some famous celebrities, and she had a sugar daddy, and the sugar daddy dumped her. And I guess she needed money. So she got married, moved to Texas, and she started a cult. This orange juice feels like it's like more than orange juice, if you know what I mean. Um, it feels like it has a bit of brandy in it. not in the taste, just in the effects. And I mean, it couldn't have fermented in like, an hour. I remember once I had fermented orange juice from the school tuck shop. It tasted so good. It tasted like mimosas. I didn't say anything. I was just like, happy lunch to me. Now let's head off to economics class with a light buzz. But anyway, this Instagram chick, she started a cult by telling everyone that she was a witch. Oh, first she took ayahuasca. Then she ended up like Connor Murphy. And then she told everyone she was a witch. And then she was from Brazil, by the way. So then she would call up her fellow countrywoman and tell them to come to America to work with her. And then they would come over thinking that they were going to get a legitimate job because she had like 1 million followers on Instagram. But she would never pay them. They would have to cook and clean and never get paid. Then she ended up getting 20 of them. And then because she was a witch, a self-styled witch, and she had an altar, she had voodoo dolls or puppets or whatever they're called. Um, she convinced these women that their soulmate was in a strip club. She told them, the visions I've had, the spirits I've been communicating with, I think she might have even used the name of God. And she said, God said your soulmate is in the strip club. And so these women went to find him, except they had to hand over everything they made. And if they couldn't make the $3,000 minimum per day, then she would tell them to not even come home. Obviously, she's in jail now as well as my crazy psycho stalker ex. But my point is, for those people to leave their home countries, to move to America, to go find a soulmate in the strip club, they must have been facing something a lot worse because they were going for money. They must have been facing something a lot worse in their countries, is what I'm saying, because they were going for money. They weren't going for love. And I think it's different when you go for love because it implies loyalty. It implies that you are looking at things for a long-term situation and not just some paycheck. And so everybody does have a price. It's just really helpful if your price is love and not money, because gold is cold. And it's a lot better to have something that's real and something that's forever. But my whole thing now is forever sounds like a fairy tale. And even though I grew up thinking, oh, I can't wait to fall in love, I can't wait to experience what all of these writers are talking about in every single story I read as a kid, Now I'm just like, you know what? Maybe those people wrote those stories because not be maybe those people wrote those fairy tales not because that's how it was, but because that's how it could be. And it's a good place to focus. I think I'm gonna have a snack. I'm so tired. What in the Texas chainsaw is happening now? Cutting the tree down. Yeah, just like I had to cut down my ex, cut down that tree. I'm gonna sleep to the sounds of the tree being cut. For some reason, I'm so sleepy all of a sudden. I feel like they're taking me to the fifth dimension. Uh, I literally feel like I'm in another dimension right now. As soon as I started talking about that stuff, it's my mind is there. Seems like the chainsaw sound has stopped. There they go. Ah, I think I'm just gonna lay down for a minute. I cannot concentrate. What the hell? was 9 minutes. What happened to the other one? Okay, guys. I don't know why I'm so sleepy now all of a sudden. So I'm gonna go and be active. Maybe I need to walk. That's what makes the energy or the stream energetic. I can't sit. Or maybe it's because I was talking about that stuff. I'm having dreams now. So I hope the other stuff got saved this time. Because now it says we're only on 10 minutes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Don't forget to look in the description box and look at all of the references about the real bad people. Okay. And don't try any of that at home, please. It's for educational purposes only. I will not respond. I will not be responsible if you try and summon something and it goes wrong. Okay. All right.